Hi, and welcome to this instructional video series on understanding accessibility for surveys. In this series, we discuss key points and principles of accessibility as they relate to websites or mobile applications, and how we can apply them to improve survey design using SurveyOptic. In this final episode, we'll be giving a brief recap of access needs and why we should use accessible design principles. Then, we'll move on to our design checklist, a useful resource to run through when designing a survey and check if the survey is accessible. Accessibility. Disabilities and access needs can be wide-ranging. Disabilities such as visual impairments are a key example, but access needs can also be temporary, such as injury, or environmental, such as bright sunlight or a loud train. Ensuring surveys are created to be as accessible as possible gives respondents the best chance to complete a response. This, in turn, includes demographics that may otherwise have been excluded and can lead to higher response rates and a more inclusive outcome. Designing a survey to be accessible generally increases the usability of the survey for everyone. This is a good example of what is known as the curb cut effect. First observed in the US, curb cuts, or drop curbs as they're referred to in the UK, were first introduced to improve the accessibility of wheelchair users when using roads and pavements. Unexpectedly, many other groups benefited from the change: parents pushing buggies, runners, cyclists, and travellers wheeling luggage, to name a few. The same is true for accessible surveys. The effective use of structure and the avoidance of hard-to-understand questions are two excellent examples which improve surveys for all respondents, not just those with access needs. So, on to our accessibility checklist. Here are some final questions to consider when designing your survey. Is the language used accessible and plain language used? Look out for double negatives and ambiguous answer choices. Doing so will help avoid confusion for everyone, but this will also keep the reading age of your survey low, which is critical for reaching respondents with learning difficulties or those that speak English as a second language. Is the survey still legible on a very small screen or with the web browser zoomed in? Be mindful of respondents who may be using phones or tablets. We've already seen earlier in this series that question types such as drop-down menus can become very challenging to use when a user has zoomed into the page to make the text more readable. Is the text distinct from the background and colour is not relied upon to give meaning? Colours must have sufficient contrast. When colours of low contrast are used together, it is more difficult to see and understand what is displayed. Whilst SurveyOptic addresses colour contrast issues within the themes that are designed for your system, it is important to have an awareness of this, particularly if incorporating custom media into a survey. Does reviewing the section titles give a meaningful flow through the survey? A survey with good structure will be more understandable for everyone. Using unique and meaningful section headings will improve the intelligibility and navigation of the survey, and encourage the survey designer to group similar questions into themes, reducing the cognitive load required for respondents to respond. Are questions which are complex to answer or navigate avoided? We've already mentioned drop-down questions, but any questions with many options can be challenging. Ranked choice questions are another key example. Replacing these questions with alternative approaches will help all respondents answer these questions, regardless of their access need. Is prompt text, hint text, and instruction text close to where it is required? Placing text where it is most pertinent for respondents will avoid confusion or respondents losing context for a question. Is there text that is unnecessarily repeated, which could be removed? Repeated text is often unnecessary visual clutter and will also be read aloud by screen readers, leading to frustration. Is the media used for the survey also accessible? For example, appropriate alt text on images or subtitled video. Could some information be better conveyed using tables? Consider if there is complex information within your survey that might be suitable for a table. Doing so gives the information structure and has benefits for those using screen readers. Remember, SurveyOptic conforms to WCAG 2.1 AA standards and has accessibility features built in as standard, meaning you don't have to worry about the technical challenges of making an accessible website or mobile application. Pair this foundation with good survey design, like the good practice found in this video series, to ensure a survey is accessible. You can find more information about accessibility standards on the World Wide Web Consortium or W3C website. We will include links to resources in the video description. If you require accessibility testing or support in creating an accessibility statement, please contact the SurveyOptic support team who can arrange this for you. Thanks for joining us in this video and indeed the series. We hope you found it useful. If you have any questions, please contact us using the details in the video description.